Were you a virgin when you were married?
Yes, I was. Were you?
Yes.
Dang it!
What?
Hi, I'm Ray Grijalva.
And I'm Anne-Marie Grijalva.
And this is The Joy of the Faith. In this video, we're going to be answering whether you should save or renew your virginity for marriage. And we're going to address this with personal examples, as well as the most recent statistics and psychological studies available. And to start, this video is not meant to condemn or judge anyone, but instead we want to provide you with the knowledge to help you live the most joyful life you can. That is our goal with this channel, and we hope you can take something from it. We also want to let you know that it's never too late to turn around. If you've already lost your virginity, you can always renew it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And something that I heard recently that I really liked was, it doesn't matter how dirty your past is, your future is spotless.
Oh, yeah. So the first question I have is, do you want to get married?
Mm-hmm.
Because that really predicates a lot of this. And you might be saying, no, marriage isn't my thing. But the 2010 census showed that 72% of adults are married.
Wow.
And people say that the marriage rate is like 50%, but that doesn't include those that are widowed or divorced. So 72% of people are married. So the odds are that you will be married. And if those are the odds, then you should probably start preparing, right? Make yourself the best man or woman you can in preparation for that. And the studies are actually pretty crazy. Those that save themselves for marriage only have a 5% divorce rate.
That's amazing.
According to the National Survey of Family Growth, which is like a branch of the CDC. And you might be saying, well, what if I only have like 2 or 3 partners? You know, like, will that make a difference? I mean, I really love them at the time. And it does. Actually, those that had 2 partners divorced at a rate 25% higher. So they had a 30% divorce rate. So basically 1 in 4 people that were married between 2006 and 2013 ended in a divorce within just 5 years of being married. So that's, you know, that in itself is a great reason to save yourself. But, you know, for those watching, if you've had more than 2 partners, don't be like, oh my gosh, this is just totally hopeless. Because you always have a chance. Like, you control your destiny. These are the averages. You can be above that. You could choose to authentically love and have a wonderful marriage.
Absolutely.
So on to the psychological studies. A 2010 study by the Journal of Family Psychology showed that out of 2,035 married individuals, sexual restraint or abstinence was associated with better relationship outcomes, even while controlling for education, the number of sexual partners, religiosity, and relationship length. So regardless of the length of your relationship, what your faith was, or the number of sexual partners, if you waited, you'd have a better relationship. Wow. So that's pretty amazing. This was echoed in a 2014 study from the Journal of Sex Research that showed that out of 10,932 individuals, the same result occurred. So the longer you wait, the better relationships that you'll have, which, you know, is always very encouraging.
Encouraging, for sure.
Definitely. Something else that you don't really think about, you know, some guys say, oh, well, what if I'm like sexually incompatible? And this awesome speaker, Jason Everett, said, look, if you're a guy and she's a girl, you're sexually incompatible. And like, we know firsthand, like, if it doesn't click, like, we both don't have the urges at the same time, but that's where we grow together, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I want to mention is, I often hear like, oh, you know, aren't you going to test drive the car? You know, you're going to make sure the shoe fits. And I think that's just a horrible way of viewing it. I mean, a car is something we buy for our satisfaction. That's not something we rate. I mean, think about it. Life gets tough, and we grow old. And if you aren't providing that same satisfaction, is that person going to leave you? I mean, no one deserves a relationship like that. We all have like such great value, and we need to realize that. And that doesn't come from the sexual satisfaction that we arouse.
Absolutely. As Ray said, we don't get our value from our bodies. And yet, I realize that too often we allow men to put price tags on us. When does he earn the right to my body? 3 months? After 6 months? We should all want our future spouses to cherish us for who we are and for the rest of our lives. So for me, and I hope for you, your man won't lift the veil over your body until he lifts the veil over your head on your wedding day.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. That is when you know he is all in. There is no greater gift than this. I want my significant other to love spending time with me and not just my body, my whole self. And I have that, and I'm so blessed.
Yeah.
But is it difficult to remain abstinent? Yes. Something I reminded myself when it was difficult was I am saying no to a greater yes. And what it gave me was mental clarity. Ray mentioned the statistics and psychological aspects, but biologically, we are made for one partner. There is a hormone in our bodies called oxytocin that is released when a couple has sex. And it's the same hormone that's released when a woman gives birth or when she's breastfeeding her baby, and it creates a bond between her and her child. Therefore, when a couple has sex, there is a bond that is created, and it is not meant to be broken.
And I like to think of it almost like a Band-Aid. I mean, you put on a Band-Aid, and when you rip it off, it causes a lot of pain, but then you stick it on again.
There's a connection. It's a real,
Yeah, there's that real bond there. And when you rip it off, it goes away. And then you stick it on again, and it comes off easier. And we see that as the same thing there. So, cherishing that and really saying, all right, I want this bond to be with, my children and my spouse. That's such a great gift that allows you to have that great bond.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's pretty amazing. And then Anne-Marie said it also allows you to have clear decision making. I mean, we all remember the movie that came out, No Strings Attached, recently with, and not having sex literally means no strings attached. You don't have that hook. You're not like, oh, well, if this, if I get about this, I have to go this and all that stuff. It's just really crazy what freedom it gives you.
Absolutely.
And then something I always think about is I think about my sisters. You all have seen the videos of me surprising them and stuff like that, but I can't imagine hearing about them just casually having sex with guys. I mean, that's just, before marriage.
Yeah.
Well, even after marriage.
Just different.
Yeah. But I love them so much. You can't love and objectify at the same time. It's just contradictory.
Right.
And I just can't bear the thought of seeing one of them, denigrated or just treated as an object. And that's the same thing that, I'd like for all of us to see as men and as women.
Yeah. And as Ray just talked about his younger sisters, for me, it was a gift to have older brothers. To me, their dating relationships seemed like they were going so well. And then the next month, they weren't. They were broken up. And so I saw that their relationships were not permanent until the wedding day. One of my brothers dated a wonderful woman for 7 years, was engaged, and even that ended. So fortunately, they were practicing abstinence, but you can imagine how difficult it would have been if they were having sex. I just can't. And now he has a beautiful wife and 4 amazing children. And because he was able to make a clear decision. I even have had a 2-year relationship, and it was really hard when we broke up. But thank God we weren't having sex. I can only imagine how much more difficult it would have been if we had been. Something I want to tell you is you are worth it. Not because you think so, but because God does.
So in closing, I want to ask the men out there, because the men, we gotta fight. We gotta get things done.
Fight for your women.
Exactly. I want you to think about a man that you look up to, and one that I really looked up to is Tim Tebow, and especially in college, there was all this temptation stuff, and I can honestly tell you that if it weren't for him, I would probably not have been a virgin on my wedding day. So that is just something so powerful, and if you want to renew your virginity or keep your virginity, you need to find a group of friends that are virtuous and great role models. A role model that I look up to is Fulton Sheen, and he once said, "When a man loves a woman, he has to become worthy of her. The higher her virtue, the more noble her character, the more devoted she is to truth, justice, and goodness, the more a man has to aspire to be worthy of her. The history of civilization could actually be written in terms of the level of its woman." And I think that's so true, because women have such great power and they have such great dignity because they bring forth life. I mean, that's just incredible.
Yeah.
So let's try to be the most worthy men we can be for our brides to be by growing in love. And what is love? Love is willing the good of the other. And I mean, we think about it is love, hooking up with some girl and her the next day being super worried about pregnancy tests? Is it loving a girl and having her put on a mask? No, it's loving who she authentically is. True love waits, because in that waiting, the fruits grow.
Yeah.
So, men, I want to call you higher, as Tim Tebow called me. Let's become the best men and women to show the world how deep our love truly is. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to share it with family or friends, and God love you.